Hey guys, this is Awesome John 22 going today with another review, and this is going to be the last review of any of Devastator's individual components. Almost forgot the word there for a second. And this is Hook and Longhaul, and here we can get a really good idea of how much bigger Longhaul is than the rest of these guys, because he really is, he's a huge figure. He has to be kind of the bulk of Devastator's waist and torso, and so he just has a lot more meat to him, which works because he's a giant industrial dump truck thing. And I did mention that he can carry all of these little piece thingies, like all the various things. I'm gonna try to remember how to do this. Let's see if I can. First we got to push this down out of the way. I'm pretty sure these with these bits out, if I don't drop them, are supposed to go in like somewhere like here. I'm not really 100% sure, so let's give this a try and see what we come up with. I think these go somewhere like here. This big guy goes somewhere like here. This guy, actually let's take this one out first. This guy goes in, there's a little peg hole here. Just sits there, which gives this thing plenty of room to fit in there. This is the one I'm not really sure about. I just usually end up putting it up front. And then, if I'm not mistaken, these guys are supposed to go in this little like slot here. So I just kind of do something like this. But it doesn't, they don't sit in there. Whoop, did a wheelie there. They don't really sit in there very well, but you can see he still does hold all these things in here, and they stay fairly well. They're not gonna just pop out unless you like specifically press or pull on one of them. But let's get them all back out of there. And that's a nice touch, and that's I'm probably doing it wrong. I'm probably putting these things in wrong specifically, but I mean, hey, it works, so I'm not gonna complain about it too much. Come on. This guy's always a pain. But yeah, that gives us a chance to look at Longhaul as an individual figure without that whole gimmicky thing going on. Because it is somewhat of a gimmick. It's not a really obtrusive gimmick because you still have the big bed. You still have something to do with it, rather. Just tripping over all my words today, aren't I? And we can't argue that it isn't useful, so there we go. But he is quite big. He's quite big and he's quite wide, and I don't know, he looks his proportions, even just in this mode, are very different than his G1 form. And while I do like this figure, don't get me wrong, part of me wishes it looked more like the original G1 figure and wasn't quite so bulky, and you'll see what I mean in robot mode as well. Also, invisible hand syndrome, though that's about it, unless you turn it over, of course, as you can see. Devastator's crotch plate just kind of chilling out there. But anyway, let's get him transformed up first. Let's move Hook over here and get to work on this guy. Let's how should we do this? Let's start here. Then we'll unpeg these hands from what are going to be, I guess, parts of his legs, sort of, eventually. Then we'll loosen up this front section here. And that just kind of makes all of this one big separate unit here. Can I pull back at all? No, I can't. This guy's just, he's slightly large, so it's a little hard to get everything in frame. He's wide. That's the main problem. He's wide. Anyway, next we're going to come up here. We're going to take this whole section, lift his arms out first, like that. We're going to we're going to take this whole section, lift it up, bring it over. You can see this clip here, the slot here, just slots right in, really easy. And then bring this down and back, and then we're going to come up here. There's a little tab there that lets us pop his head out. We're going to bring his arms up, straighten him out, come down here, just kind of split that enough that you can come here, and you can come here, straighten him back out, and then rotate his waist around. And there you have Longhaul in his robot mode, and definitely, if you know anything about the G1 Constructicons, definitely the biggest stylistic departure from the G1 figure out of any of these guys, in their robot modes especially. And while I don't dislike this guy, I like having more wider transformers, because I myself am a pretty wide guy. I can see why some people don't like him. His chest does really resemble the G1 figure, though, especially, and I do like it. It just... I keep wanting to call this guy a gimmick figure because I'm so used to gimmicks being the big reason that figures don't quite look like they probably should. But really, it's just because he has to have... He's the top of Devastator's legs. He's the bottom of Devastator's torso. There is a certain amount of this guy that just has to have bulk and has to have these big, powerful ratchets just to kind of hold the whole guy up. Because he is going to be so massive, unfortunately. But despite that, despite the fact that he has those ratchets there, he actually has a seriously good range of articulation. It's really stiff, but it's there. He doesn't have forward elbows, but he does have kind of elbow crunches, which annoys the crap out of me, but it's better than nothing, and I'm not going to get too worried about it when some of the guys don't have elbows at all. Rotates, and if you pop this out just a little bit, he does have a kind of a decent range of motion in and out. It's, I don't know, maybe 40 degrees, which isn't a lot, but it's something. It's fine. He definitely looks like he could like get like a good firm stance and fight some guys. So I'm cool with it. I think he looks fine. I think he could look better, but I think he looks fine. I'm not going to complain about it that much. Still not nearly my favorite figure of the set. Let's go ahead and kind of set him to the side and get to work on Hook over here. And actually, Hook is the one I transformed the least out of all these guys, probably. So let's see if I can remember how to do it. This thing slides, yes, that way. I believe that is important for this transformation and not his combined transformation. I guess we'll find out. Bring his arms down. Those are clearly what are going to be his arms. Then we're going to come down here, take these, and bend them. And they're kind of like, who was it, Scrapper's legs, I think, where separate this. There's this long post here that pegs these two halves together, and it's a little too long, and it's slightly hollow. I'm worried it's going to break off eventually, but so far it hasn't. Take these, and rather than this section of the leg touching the back of this to combine together, like on, I believe it was Scrapper, it accordions down. Oh, crap. Well, there's an issue I was going to point out anyway. These are on these little friction joints, and they always felt like they were going to pop off eventually. And there one did, so there we go. They just slide right back in, though. It's not that big a deal. But it comes down, and then this slots in. You can see this little tab right there will slot in behind there like that and makes a fairly solid leg. We're going to do that, of course, on both sides. And he still, despite having this big bulk behind his leg, still ends up with knee articulation. He has, in fact, really good all-around articulation. They even managed to work in ankle tilts, which is pretty fantastic. Now this one's popping off too. Jeez. It's not really an issue because they pop right back on, but I'd still like to see that not happening. It's kind of bugging me, though. Like I said, it's not that big deal. So we're going to fold out his fists. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Finally, we're going to come back here. Now we'll get to see if I did that for no reason. Bring these down like this. I guess just his hook just kind of stays back down there. I thought it did something, but I guess I'm wrong. Probably thinking of somebody else. Anyway, yeah, just turn this whole thing into a big backpack and then just rotate the head around. And I like this guy. He looks good. He looks fine. I guess I like a lot of the others better, though. He has rotation in the arms here, but it's below the elbow, so it's absolutely useless. And I mean, all you can really do is rotate his arms like that, and then you just see how hollow they are. His elbows are basically broken. I don't even typically ever bend them, but I mean, he's a good size. You can see he's a bit shorter than Longhaul, but Longhaul is taller than any of the other guys. I'll bring one of them up. You can see we have Mixmaster here, and get him position. He's about the same height as Hook, whereas Longhaul is taller. Not much more to it. But yeah, I mean, they look good together. All these guys look good together, and I'll show them off all together on the table. Very dirty table. I really need to clean this table before I combine them in Devastator. But yeah, they look good. Their detail's good. I like that Longhaul gets all this silver that is for Devastator, but it's there. You got the silver headlights, big black grille in the front, nice silver head with this red visor. I'll actually zoom in on that for a second. It's very non-standard compared to the other Constructicon heads, but I do like it. And then Hook weirdly doesn't get a whole lot of paint himself. It's not a very good angle, is it? He's got some silver on his face, silver on his legs, red on his chest, and gold and black, but most of his color doesn't come from paint, and it comes from this big purple in his body, and I like that. I think it looks good, it looks dynamic, it definitely matches the others for the most part. I think the only one that doesn't have a purple chest other than Longhaul here is Bone Crusher. Yeah, he definitely looks good. I just don't like the way they handled the arms at all. It really puts me off the figure. But overall, they're not bad figures. Let me put it this way. All of these guys, in one way or another, each of them individually, they would be slightly disappointing as a standard release Voyager class figure. If they were just 6 guys who didn't combine together into anything, I don't think they would be worth picking up. But because of the final result, they managed to do so much with these guys individually and still turn them into something so great, which you will see next video, I definitely think these guys are all worth it. Let's just get that out of the way right now. I really do like these guys. I take them for what they are at face value, and I do like them. And that's going to be about it for this review, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it, because I certainly enjoyed making it. Once again, I've said this so many times now, it's starting to get boring. If you're watching this on my AJ Universe channel, please understand that I have moved my review channel, fumbling my words again, to a different channel. It is now AJ22 Reviews. This channel that used to be Awesome John 22 is now AJ Universe, and will not be hosting my reviews much longer. Maybe a month, 2 months tops. So please check the description down below. Find the link to AJ22 Reviews if you are here for reviews. Go over there and subscribe. I do have even some new things planned for the channel, so there's that. Yeah, either way, this has been Awesome John 22, and I will talk to you guys later.